I forgot what day it is.
141?
What day in Liberia?
Oh, 96, 97? Hang on, I can tell you in a split second.
Don't lean on the table too much because I think this will topple over.
It's a professional outfit we're running. 97. Wow.
97th day in Liberia.
I looked up and we missed a day.
Yeah. 1,000, yeah. I mean, looking at the number of days our kids have been in the orphanage just makes me want to explode.
Puke.
Days that all of our documentation was hand delivered to the Ministry of Gender here in Liberia, and all of our fees were paid. Everything was completely done. It's been 544 days. That's the number that's unheard of. That's the weird number. That was the number that when I told the MOG officials that, I was like, you guys realize it's been November 2022. And they're like, oh no, maybe your agency didn't get it to me. I'm like, I mean, I don't think my agency is going to just lie about that. Like,
let's not forget they said that's impossible. That's impossible.
Email receipt confirmation. Even a month later, I was like, all right, are we sure everybody's got my stuff? Because we were mailing it right after Hurricane Ian had come over our city. So we were a little concerned about the mail. As our city was kind of rebuilding. So, we were on power issues. There were all kinds of issues. So it was right after that. So we were pretty cognizant of the fact that there could be mail problems. And, it was delivered, hand receipt, so we have receipts from everything, that we asked for. So I have the list of dates. So 544 days is too long. So, we have still some legal news that I don't really feel comfortable sharing on this video yet, but I will probably later this week. But we do see some things move in the right direction. We heard from our, orphanage director in country here that, there was, some fine tuning that needed to happen to our case history report based on the timing of our case history report being done. There was something that had to be updated. And even though our agency is suspended, there was someone at the Ministry of Gender, Children, and Social Protection. MOGSCP is what it's called. MOGCSP. We just call it MOG for short. So somebody got out from behind their desk and got out into the field and went and did something. So I think that was at the prompting of our orphanage director, because we are, at the moment, we're the only family in town. There are 4 families that I know of at the moment that could literally buy plane tickets tomorrow. Maybe 5, maybe 6 actually. Maybe 7. So there's a bunch of us that are ready to go. But this was some type of layer that had to be done for our case history report. That I don't know if it's gonna have to be done for more. I don't know, but I just know it's nice to see something. Because when I went down there, I was nice, but I'm kind of over it. And I did ask for some compassion. I did tell them you can't treat orphanages this way that run like this, because they'll go out of business. Both agencies, and now all adoptions are stopped. So all of these agencies are in danger, because if all adoptions are stopped, they can't do referrals, they can't collect fees. They can show you waiting children, I guess, but they can't take the next step. So there was some fine tuning that happened with our case, which was good. And it may have been something that already needed to happen, or maybe it's something that happened. But I want them to know that we're doing everything we can. And we missed the Bruce family already. It was hard to be at the orphanage today without them. There was definitely a hole missing. I spoke with their children. I spoke with our children. I basically had videos for all the kids that have permission to share videos, because some of them have been legally adopted, or if we're close friends with our family, like they live in our same community, or if they're through a certain phase. But the kids were blue today. There was just kind of a heaviness, and I don't know. I know yesterday was the twins had a birthday yesterday, so I don't know if that birthday celebration makes them blue the next day. In general, but the kids in general were all just sort of wah wah. I didn't bring any cookies today, so maybe that was part of it. Our soccer ball is lost somewhere at the orphanage. Where do you think it's locked up? This may have had him down too. So there's a dog at the orphanage that had puppies, and which is totally what we need is more puppies. But they were about 5 weeks old, and over the last week, 3 of them have died, and there's 1 left. So now Jeremy's not a dog person at all, but our kids obviously love this puppy. But they haven't really been playing with the puppies at all, because I'm like, don't get attached. Like, they're probably not gonna make it. Like, the mom dog looks pretty thin. It's just not ideal. You know, they're obviously not. You know, they're feeding kids right now. I'm working hard at that, so they're not like. But Jeremy bought. Tell them what you bought.
Well, some puppy dog food.
I thought about putting it on our Liberia grocery list, but I didn't do it because I was like,
no, I put it on there.
You put it on there?
So
it's just our youngest kid is so like in love with this dog. But
not that I'm paying attention to every dime we spend, but like I had to spend that. I had to buy $18 worth of vegetable oil to cook, and then I had to buy $18.
It comes in big ones, though. Don't freak out.
$18, but it goes pretty quick. Then $18 worth of dog food. So like on top of our grocery bill was like $36.
You didn't have to buy dog food, but
well, I know
you chose to. The Carols were like, I was like, you need some meat. Because they're like giving him milk and like.
He's so little too.
He's so little. But he looks okay. I mean, he's like crying and kind of yelping, and he walks around and wags his tail.
So many like little hands running around.
But I'm afraid he's going to get crushed anyway. So maybe if he gets some good food, I don't know. He may not make it till Thursday. You never know. I've just told the kids not to get attached because I'm like, But I also told them, I was like, but heaven is such a better place. I really don't know about.
You know what's
the
so
whole dogs
in
in heaven
is
thing.
that I buy the dog food and he's dead. He said by the time we get back.
Well, then we'll give it to the other dogs because they were awfully hungry. But true. So there's a boy dog, a girl dog, and this puppy, right? And the boy dog's pretty thin, and he was eyeing that puppy like it was lunch. And I just got up all of a sudden. I was like, no. And Jeremy like got up too because it's just us sitting out there. But one of the nannies had brought the puppy out for the girls to pet him and try to give him some milk, because he's not really eating. But I'm like, he needs food. He's 5 weeks old. He needs food. He's got teeth.
Well, I just
Milk's not going to work.
Envision this dog getting mauled in front of
we were just going to watch this all fall apart. So I was like, we just need to try to. The mama dog's still protective, but it was just a thing. And then what about our insurance? You want to tell the people about our car insurance?
So apparently our insurance agent that I used in Florida to hook us up with farmers insurance decided to not honor or not use farmers anymore. So I guess when that happens, that means that all policies they help get for us gets canceled. So
yeah.
Apparently ours got canceled in March. I just didn't notice it
we didn't get
coming
any
out of our
mail.
account. I didn't notice it quit coming out of our account. So we've not had auto insurance, which we haven't needed it, but we haven't had auto insurance for 2 months.
And I think so. We had full coverage on one vehicle, and then we had liability on the other, but neither of us could remember which was which. They're very similar cars. I feel like we had full coverage on Beater Box, which is funny because he's younger mileage, but
it was Big Papa, I'm pretty sure. Or
maybe Big Papa, I'm not sure. But they're both like paid for. One of them's a Suburban, 2011 Suburban that's paid for with like 200-something thousand miles on him. And the other one is a Yukon XL, which is the same as a Suburban, but it's like a 13, but it's like 150,000 miles. So they're like the same car, basically. We love Big Papa more.
So I called.
So he doesn't even start right now, according to Devin. He needs a new battery.
I called farmers and I was like, hey, what happened here? And they couldn't tell me really much. Well, that's what they told me about the agent thing. And then I said, well, can I get a quote? And they're like, well, we don't offer that in Florida anymore, but we've basically contracted out another insurance person.
And then they add on their fees.
And it was like another $100 for liability.
We haven't had
both vehicles, and it was like going to be $300 a month
for liability for both. And we were at $190 for full coverage on one and liability on the other.
I'm like, it's gone up $100, and they're like, oh well, I
haven't had a speeding ticket in years.
You have more of a fee because of the lapse. I'm like, well, the lapse is not our fault.
I got a speeding ticket coming home from work in like middle of the night, early morning, like.
It's 3 years, so that's not on there.
Like 6 or 7 years ago, and I'm still mad about it because I'm like.
So
you don't give somebody a ticket in their scrubs for going 11 over, but whatever.
We scrambled and found some pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, we asked. Yeah, Progressive gave us a good deal, but then they want us to download this app so that we can get like. Are our cars too old for the app, or is it going on our phone?
No, it goes on your phone.
But we're not going to be driving.
Yeah, I was going to call them tomorrow and be like, hey, what's up with this?
No, but Devin said they had some storms come through, and our Suburban's parked at her house, as is our dog. And so she was going to move our car into a safer location when they had like tornadoes basically coming through there, but he wouldn't start. but her husband's a mechanic, so I'm like, I'm not worried. I'm like, you know, have you been, because today I was chatting with her, I'm like, where are we on the Zeke's like collar, GPS collar? And she's like, oh, it's in the mail. You know, we're keeping a good eye on him. And she just still doesn't want to say he was lost, even though like someone else was calling us for him. Like someone was calling Jeremy with a Boston area code saying, I have your dog, and Jeremy's in Africa, but she was in Tennessee. Anyways, but he wasn't past the property line, but he was in the road. So there's all these factors. So he's getting a new collar, but then the Big Papa's, my Suburban's parked there too, named Big Papa. And Beater Box is in Florida, and Paige has the keys to Beater Box. So that being said, Big Papa doesn't, because I'm like, you should start him up every now and then. He's kind of geriatric. You have to feed him oil especially if you start him up and there's smoke coming out the exhaust. Like definitely, like turn him off. Let everything cool down, put some oil in before you go anywhere. She's not really driving Big Papa. He's just sitting there. He's just an ornament and a reminder of why the grass isn't growing in this one part of her yard. There's probably an oil spill there too. But yeah, her husband's a mechanic, so he'll probably spend some days. When we buy our plane tickets, he'll start fixing stuff. No need to get under the hood more than once, probably.
No.
It's an old car.
So I got pretty frustrated today. I was had these thoughts, like, so I'm pretty much sick and tired of leaving our kids at the orphanage. Like, just the look in their eyes when we drive off, it's so disgusting.
Oh, and today was heavier because we're the only parents here now. So
by the time we get in the car and I just think about and decompress from that experience, I'm just so mad at the Liberian people for not doing anything. Just lift a finger to help these kids, and it makes me so mad. We're sitting right here. We're available to take them home and help take the burden of these kids that this country can't support. And it's just makes me so disgusted. Like I'm so mad about it. Like we are just begging for somebody to help us, and it's like it's just so
and like we
maddening.
understand the complaints about the U.S. Embassy influencing these adoptions, both Liberian, because we understand what the parents were going through before. I mean, we have several parents that we know of that have plenty of things that were said to them, ways that they were treated, to file a complaint with the Inspector General in the U.S. So, like, we know that there's a U.S. role here, but at some point, we can't fix, I mean, you can't just keep pointing fingers at the U.S. saying they're telling us this, we're scared of them or whatever. You got to be comfortable in your own skin, and that's part of Liberia's growth as a country. Their leadership needs to say, these are our laws. We're following them. These are your laws. We're following those too. Because international adoption, you got to follow the laws for both countries if you want to come all the way home to the U.S. or any country. So these international foreign relations are important. But
I just like any Liberian to, put 10% of the effort where these families are putting into.
Yeah, so
or maybe 1%.
We're having to fight both battles at this point, And like our Liberian friends are like, oh, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. But like, I think, especially since the Bruce family, I mean, I feel bad for our director here in country. He has worked hard, but now, I mean, he's doubled down everything. He was here today. Jeremy met with him this morning, and he's working hard. He gave us the news about the last final, because I was really pushing on our report. I'm like, our documents have been there since November 2022. Our case history report should have been signed long before this even started. I mean, our case history report should have been signed in May. And we had all our funding done by May 2023. So we should have been done. So, I mean, I'm like,
I go back to that conversation. I guess it wasn't impossible.
Yeah, she kept saying that's not true. It must be something with your agency. You need to talk to your agency. Well, come to find out, our agency, I mean, they did give us some answers, but the answers they gave us was still not their fault. It's the government's fault. But you can't just continue to say political conflicts and kids caught in the crosshairs. Like, at some point, somebody has to stand up and say, we're done here. So we still need funding for legal fees. So there's legal fees coming down the way. I wish I could explain it a little more in depth. I need more information before I can really explain it fully. But we do. So we are still about $3,400 away. 32. No. 32. I'm trying to think of our fundraising. $3,300 away from the fundraising goal for the legal fees. So, and like, we've always got the roof money. We're supposed to get our roof fixed with our insurance settlement. It's like, we're probably gonna have to just make more money for that. And you know, we're kind of in this position where we've exhausted all of our resources. We've already paid for 4 months in Liberia because you have to pay in advance. So where we are right now, we're already paid up. We moved rooms, we downgraded rooms. So we actually have like a little bit of a credit now. So we're paid up now until June. We were paid through May 31st. Yep. So now we're paid through like June 4th here. And then moving forward, it's still a lot cheaper than it was before. So we got a little extra there. But it's just, we so much appreciate you guys. Like, you're shopping the Noonday stuff. I got on my Belief necklace today. It's a mosquito bite on my neck, by the way. And I've got mosquito bites all over me because when we moved into this room, it's not a slider. It's like there's no screen. So the door was open a lot when we're moving our stuff in. So there's nothing we could really do. We're sleeping with bug spray on tonight.
And it's rainy season officially.
But if you want to buy some Noonday stuff, this one was made by trafficking victims. There's some bags. There's some shoes on sale right now. There's some clearance items that are ridiculous right now. There's some bags on clearance that are about to run out. But we appreciate the Noonday support. We appreciate those of you that are giving clothes. Paige is officially spearheading in Cape Coral. My friend Paige Navarro is officially spearheading the clothing collection. Right now, she's still collecting in my garage if you want to put stuff on the driveway. Once we get our house rented, if we go that road, go down that road, which we may have to pay the mortgage, although I don't love that idea. She'll figure out something else, another location to collect at. But she may just be putting it all in beater box, just driving my car around. Maybe Ashley will help her. Maybe she started the bookers.
No, I mean, she's disgusting.
But
at this point anyway.
If you want to do clothes, that's fine too. And then if you want to give directly to our Adopt Together, the link is on our description for a tax-deductible donation. Also, just so you can just keep this on your radar, there are several families that are going to have extended fees because we're all having to pay, like, we've paid 22 months of what's called pre-adoptive care. So $250 a month per kid. So $500 a month for the last 22 months. And then they kind of keep it rolling, the expectation to be 3 to 6 months from that moment. So we're thinking 6 months. So that's 28 months. So that's $14,000 we've paid in pre-adoptive care. Most families pay 6 months of pre-adoptive care, which is $3,000, maybe 12 months, 6 to 12, just depends. Like, we are paying more pre-adoptive care, partly because we saw an email and chose our children ourselves, as opposed to getting a referral, but there's not much of a difference there. It's just, we were matched with our children before our dossier was complete, because we were willing to adopt these specific kids that are older. And at the time, they were older, but 4 and 6 years old. So a lot of the kids were taking a nap today when we were there, the younger ones, but some of them were popping up, and the ones that are unmatched, they always get me because I'm so worried that people are, because of our experience and because of the experience of other families, I'm very concerned that these children that are unmatched, that no one will, right now they're not even taking applications for families. So unless there's some unmatched families on the list that want older kids, they're not even taking applications for kids that are older. And from what I understand, most of the families that were unmatched wanted younger kids. So I'm looking at these kids that are like 11, from age 6 to 11 today. And I'm like, I don't know if this is, I don't know what to, when I look at them, I want to call Jimbo and change my application to 3. I do, because I don't want to leave him here, but I can't change my application to 3. My application for 2 is barely getting by, and it's not really getting by, and I don't have any more money. So, that's just what it's come down to. So I don't want you guys to give up. I'm not going to tell, if you choose to go down this road of this adoption, I'm going to tell you, like, honestly, it's going to be the hardest thing ever. You better have a strong marriage coming in, because if you don't, it will crumble in this process. So like, get the counseling. Everybody needs a therapist. If you're going to go down the international adoption road, you need a therapist. Your husband needs a therapist. You know, you need, like, everything needs, you need to have your church on board. You need to have your job on board. You need to have your whole community on board. You need to fundraise like crazy, not just because of how expensive it is, but because that's where your community of support comes from. Those are the people that emotionally, spiritually, and physically support you when it gets too hard, because international adoption is too hard for any one family. It's just too hard. So if you don't have a lot of friends around you you find them. We'll be your friend. but it's the toughest thing. And Jeremy, I mean, we've done tough things before, like really tough things. We've adopted before. We've done some things that were very difficult as a family, as a couple, as individuals. I work in the ER, like that can be very difficult at times. Like working stress, I kind of like stress, I thrive in stress. But like this is something totally different. And I don't want to discourage you from doing it. I just want you, I want the best people to do it, but I want you to be brave, and I want you to be understand surrender before you get to the point we're at. Because I think we understood surrender before we got to this point. Also, I wanted to read, there were today on the radio.
Oh, I was going to, are you talking about MLK?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was thinking the same thing. They read like the last, 2 or 3 paragraphs of the I Have a Dream speech. And all I could think about at the end of that was like, please let my people go.
Martin Luther King Jr. has a lot of inspiring speeches. And I know on Martin Luther King Day, a lot of times we think about the I Have a Dream speech.
Free at last, free at last. And I was like, that's what I'm going to say.
So, well, that was the thing he was doing. But one thing that he, in his I Have a Dream speech, you know, the thing, as a white woman who I'm not, I mean, I know I speak from a place of privilege. I'm, you know, I get that, whatever. That was the cards I was dealt. But, as a child and as a young adult reading this, and when he says, I want it gets me every time. I want my 4 young children to be judged by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And like, he's speaking like he doesn't want them to be stoned. He doesn't want the color of their skin to be the only deciding factor for them. And although I do speak from a place of privilege, and I want to acknowledge that before I say this next part, I want to be that too. I want that too. I don't want the fact that I'm a white American woman to prejudge me of what I'm capable of, how much money I have, the kind of difference I can make. I mean, I'm going to use all my powers for good that I possibly can. And even today, there's like, this thing happened. I'm like, let's stop at a store right now and just fix it. Like, just fix it. Nobody asked for my help, but I'm like, this is a whack-a-mole situation. I got to take care of my people, especially my Liberian people that need me, whether they ask me or not. Is the same as I would do if I was driving down the road and it was me and Tia, who lives across the street from me, and it's like, oh, we need this. I'm like, let's just stop and get it now. I'm by, and it's fine. Let me just go get it. Let's just knock it out. This is the kind of person that I am. But it is hard to constantly be in this place where people think that you have these like American superpowers when you really have very finite strength or resources to do anything. And the one thing that I want, I can't have. So I am extremely tired of being discriminated against by the U.S. Embassy, the Liberian government, because I'm a white American woman and I probably have enough money to stay longer and just wait it out while these people fight. Because I'm tired of that judgment. And I thought about that today when I was driving, because yes, I want to be free, but I want this to be an equal playing field. I don't like it at all. I think about my friend Sela, who's a Liberian. And you know, she's black and I'm white. She's become a good friend and we have a lot in common these days. But she's like, I think we should just go get our signs and make signs, let our children go, let adoptions pass, and march around the embassy, march around the Ministry of Gender, and march around the police station until we get what we want. I think we should picket. And I'm like, I don't really want to picket. That sounds dangerous. But then there's another part of me that does want to picket, because that was the one thing that Martin Luther King did. The biggest peaceful protest in our nation's history still is him. We shot him for it. And when I say we, like, obviously I wasn't there, but we as a country shot him for it. But the interesting things about Martin Luther King is that he started college when he was 15. Which I didn't really know, but I was just looking at stuff about him. Does anybody want to know how many times Martin Luther King was arrested? Now, I just want you to know that, keep in mind, no one has been arrested. These allegations that the U.S. Embassy made, that the Ministry of Gender entertained, that the police have been investigating for 5 months into our kids and another agency, in our agency, no one's been arrested.
And you mentioned also, I want to jump in, you said they're fighting. I wish there was fighting. My opinion is they're not doing anything. They're just sitting there, and that's even worse.
But they're expecting us to foot the bill.
Yeah. Like, they didn't even get started like months in until they actually ended the investigation.
I mean, the police, I mean,
and then
they expect us to foot the bill.
Just the apathy is just ridiculous.
And I will foot the bill for people that can make a difference. Like, if a legal person comes to me and is like, I see X, Y, Z, and this is what I think I can do, and this is my rate, I might negotiate a little bit. Be like, well, come on now. I like to negotiate. But I'm going to pay him. I'm going to pay. If a legal representative wants to approach me at this point and give me some solid evidence of some laws broken, then I know have been broken, because, I mean, the laws are public record for everybody. Liberian laws, American laws, and there's a lot of laws that have been broken, just so you guys know. If I had somebody I could find that would sit down with me and say, yep, I can prosecute this, this, and this, and I'm not scared of anybody. I'm more scared of right and wrong than I am politics. That's what I want. But Martin Luther King was arrested 29 times. Most of them are from, like, protests, as far as I know. He survived in an assassination attempt 10 years before his actual assassination. And this is the kicker. You guys are going to like this. After his death, the King family filed a civil case against the government and won. The U.S. government. And I just want to say to Liberian people that probably aren't watching this, that maybe there's a couple Liberians that might be watching. They're already on my side if they're watching. The U.S. government is not infallible, and they are not always right. And our laws exist as public record for a reason. And the laws that have been broken, if Martin Luther King can be assassinated and his family at that time can file a civil case and win against the U.S. government, then there's no reason I can't do this. Girls, hang on just a sec, okay? Oh, hang on just a sec. Let me finish this.
Just a second, please.
Okay. You gonna play your song?
I don't have a song in mind.
Oh, you gotta think of some song in relation to this whole free to last phase.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna sue you, Scarlett. Simple as that.
That's pretty fitting.
Yes. Although I'm scared of birds. Isn't that crazy though?
I don't think I knew that last part.
It was later, but still. That's here's the reason why, in my opinion, the reason why America is a great country and should be protected and, I don't want to say respected, valued, is the transparency, the checks and balances, and the law is for everyone. So if you're a human, and even if you're not, like if you're a dog, there's rights. Like there's, I mean, cats have rights in the U.S., just so you know. So like, I don't know, it's just one of those things I feel like I've known this before because I've traveled internationally before, and I've been to developing countries before. And I get this whole love-hate for Americans. Like people like here, like respect Americans, they love Americans. And in general, Liberia has a good culture about taking care of of people, foreigners among you. Like, that's a biblical principle. And they practice it here to take care of foreigners among you. They look out for us. I mean, even strangers look out for us, like at the airport. I mean, it's a good culture for Americans here. However, the reason that America stays in a place of prosperity for the most part is because the laws it matters. You can sue people and win. You can go to court and win. I mean, there's an adopted family that won a court case this month that's huge for our adoption, and theirs. So I just want to say, like, I mean, I love our country. I want to go home. I have learned that just because the law says it, unless you have the money to pay a lawyer to help you, it doesn't matter what the law says. Unless you're in America, when you can get one appointed for you if you can't afford it. That's not how it is here in Liberia. You don't have legal representation appointed to you, I don't think, if you don't have it.
No, that's only criminal. If you're trying to take lawsuit action, that's different. You have
That's
to
true.
put that on your own.
That's true. But even there's pro bono. Like, if you don't have any money, pro bono stuff. So, all right. Martin Luther King, certainly not a perfect man, certainly respected by me. I am covered in mosquito bites.
Free at last, free at last. Good God Almighty, I'm free at last.
I'm sad because I smell like bug spray because it's protecting me from mosquitoes. But I really need to take a shower, and all my bug spray's gonna get wiped off. And then am I gonna put more on? Like, because I didn't think they really bothered me last night, but then I've been counting up my bites today. And
they were feeding on me.
Maybe they did.
I was laying in the bed, like, I could hear a buzz in my ear. I could hear a buzz in my ear.
Look, they're all over me.
You're just waiting.
I'm so sorry.
You hear a buzz in my ear. It is like bzz, all night long. Bzz. It's maddening. I feel like we were camping out or something. Sing us a song, Dolly.
I'm gonna YouTube this. That's not really a good chord. That one sounds good. Wait, what was it?
Top string. This one.
You make me push buttons. What are you doing? Why are you touching it up? I can't. When you put your hand here like this, look. Can you see the strings? Mm-hmm. Can you see where my fingers are?
Yeah.
Look where my face is. Come over here and look where my face is.
This is too hard.
Come over here and look where my face is.
I don't want to.
I can't see what you're doing. You might as well put like a blockade in front of it and then point way around the blockade and be like, did you see that? Show me again. Don't block your own instruction.
Man, you're a pleasant woman to help. Top string.
I didn't really ask for help.
You did. You said, which strings was it? That's it. Keep going. That's it.
I need my glasses on. Oh, here they are. I need my glasses on to do this. Oh, I changed it.
Yeah.
I gotta try again. Tell which one's my favorite. Dum.
I think fat Easter.
Jeremy plays his guitar, but I like to knit and crochet. And what I do lasts longer, and the kids play with mine. But his is prettier. Okay, that's all. Anything else? That sounds pretty. What song is that?
Gratitude.
Oh, yeah. Jesus song. Bye, guys.